I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Samuel Faulkner has been thrown a curve.
I'm pregnant.
Pregnant?
Watch out!
Here's the windup.
Honey!
And the pitch.
Oh, you hit like a girl, you...
Knock me out!
Now it's a full count.
Follow me! No!
Because this summer, one comedy is a home run from the director of Mrs. Doubtfire. 9 months, rated PG-13.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. And this is a request for Sean, another Patreon request. Thank you so much for that. If anyone wants to request pretty much any type of video review of a movie or something else, topic, reaction, list, pretty much any type of video, you can request either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. I will get to it as soon as I can. But this time I'm talking about 9 months, which I know Sean really hates the film. I was very surprised that a lot of people hate this film. It has a fairly low rating on IMDb, like a 5.4, 5.5. It's directed by Chris Columbus, who did Home Alone, among many other movies. It stars Hugh Grant. I think this was his first big American film. I mean, before he had done like 4 Weddings and a Funeral and other stuff, but I did an American film with a big studio. I believe this was the first. And he stars as a guy who's with Julianne Moore from Hannibal and The Lost World Dress Part 2. Things are going fine, and she reveals that she's pregnant. And pretty much is about Hugh Grant not being able to deal with the fact that she's pregnant and having to come to terms with that. And it has a pretty good supporting cast. I mean, you got Jeff Goldblum. You got Robin Williams. He appears about 2 or 3 scenes. I wish he was in the film more because he's very funny. He's easily one of the best parts of the film. I'll get to him in a minute. You got Tom Arnold and Joan Cusack as a couple who are expecting another baby, and they have a couple daughters. Okay, I just say the film is this. The film is very sitcom-y. What that means is there's a lot of moments in this movie that you could see working. You just see someone doing it in a sitcom and would probably have some kind of laugh track. If that bothers you a lot, I can understand. Sitcoms are one of those things where a lot of times I could just watch it, but it kind of just passes me over. And I don't love it, I don't hate it. It's just like, eh. This one, I don't hate this movie though. I don't. I know Sean's like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't. I saw this film back in the day. I don't remember if it was on when I had cable and I saw on HBO or I saw it some other way. I cannot remember. And that's the AC on, if you're wondering what that noise is. But Hugh Grant, I know he has said that, everyone did a great job. I apologize for my performance because I went so over the top. But I thought it worked in this kind of film. Like it's supposed to be a bit more of a zany comedy. It's not like Hugh Grant did another film about a boy. I believe that's what it's called. That it's more of a serious. There's humor, but it's a bit more serious, dramatic, mixed in with the humor, and that's a pretty decent film too. But I thought for the wackiness of the comedy, I thought Hugh Grant. It depends. How do you feel about Hugh Grant? I liked Hugh Grant. I liked him in Notting Hill. There's this film he did that I wish had a Blu-ray. I think it's very underrated. It's called Extreme Measures, where it's one of the few times he got to be in a thriller. A serious thriller with him and Gene Hackman that's a little bit like Coma, but it's a doctor that finds out that these homeless people are being used for experiments in order to try to find a cure for cancer, and Gene Hackman is the doctor behind it. I thought that was pretty interesting film. I thought Hugh Grant, again, did a really capable job of showing his more serious acting chops, and that's a film that I felt deserves a bit more love. It doesn't even have a fucking Blu-ray. But I like Hugh Grant. Maybe that's why I don't mind the film, is because I don't mind his tics and mannerisms that he would do in these first chunk of movies of his career. Sort of the English gentleman, but he's a little bit bumbling, and sometimes he talks like that, and I don't know. Like he's you either hate it or you don't mind it. I'm one of those people that didn't mind it. Julianne Moore, honestly, she's the one I like the least, and I'm not sure if it's really her acting, but the way the character's written just came off as a bitch. And that's really one of my flaws for the film, for me personally, is Julianne Moore just came off as a bitch. Like, I get its sentiment that, well, Hugh Grant, you need to grow up and settle down and accept responsibilities, but at the same time, I could perfectly understand Hugh Grant going, well, wait a minute, like, you want me to get rid of this car? Wait a minute. Okay, maybe I can understand that. But wait a minute, I have a cat that I've had for like 16 years, and I'm supposed to get rid of it? And you have no sympathy for it? Maybe because I like cats, and pussies, and both. But, I'm like, if I have a cat for 16 years, I'm not getting rid of it. The cat can barely fucking move. So, it's moments like that I'm like, okay, Julianne Moore, you're just acting like a bitch, and you do know that, okay, granted, I've never had kids, but I would like to assume that there could be some kind of compromise. It seems more like it's my way or the fucking highway, which I don't get. I'm sure there's plenty of people that didn't have to give up fucking everything because your wife's having a baby. I'm not saying that nothing will change, but this is the way it was done. Is like, also had this weird thing that I'm not sure how I feel about it. Part of me wants to say I liked it for how off the fucking wall it was. Just at one point someone mentions like the praying mantis thing where, they eat their mate, and I think it was Jeff Goldblum, or I forget who said it. Like, someone said it, kind of like part of a joke. But then later on, you get this weird ass dream where Hugh Grant's in bed and turns, and there is a fucking full grown human, like praying mantis the size of a fucking human. And I was kind of impressed with the practical effects on it. I'm like, okay, it's not shitty CGI like Dracula. What the fuck was that? What was that one Dracula movie? Dario Argento. Dario Argento's Dracula just turned to a fucking praying mantis. It was CGI. Here, at least it's part of a dream, a nightmare. And again, it's done practical. I'm like, but it's definitely one of those what the fuck moments that I remember. Tom Arnold, some people don't like Tom Arnold. I've never minded Tom Arnold. I never have. I liked him in True Lies. I'm fine with him in this. Robin Williams, I said before, I wish he was in the film more because he was really enjoyable. He plays this Russian doctor, and he had worked on rats and such before, but now this is his first time working with a pregnant woman. And I would say Robin Williams, maybe because I miss Robin Williams, I'm a big fan of his. Of course, him and Chris Columbus will work together on Mrs. Doubtfire. Well, actually, that was before this. Mrs. Doubtfire was before this. And he's a guy who has a bad habit of mispronouncing things, and like he has his computer to check the date of the when the baby might be born, and he's doing stuff wrong. And Hugh Grant, Julianne Moore, getting more pissed. And so Robin Williams get more frustrated, like, please don't do it. I spent a year in Afghanistan. Oh, what is wrong with the thing? Oh, fuck me. It's not working. Just how exasperated he's with the computer. It's like, oh, fuck me. Now for the physical examination. Let's take a look at your Volvo. I'm like, your Volvo? It's, again, that may be a joke that some people feel is too sitcom-y, but it did make me laugh. Because of the way I think Robin Williams brought his energy A-game to it. Or later on, when I'm trying to see what the... You want Anastasia? What? Oh, I need to buy myself a clitoris. It's a thesaurus, and yes, you do. I said that did make me laugh. I need to buy myself a clitoris. Thesaurus, yes. There's a couple other moments that made me really laugh. The moment where Tom Arnold is taking Hugh Grant out shopping, and there's this wannabe Barney the dinosaur. It's green. I think his name is Arnie. I guess instead of Barney, it's Arnie. Instead of purple, pink, it's green. And he's like, oh, come get my toys. And he's like, no, we're not going to get it. Okay. And it's a person in this mascot suit. And I guess whoever made the suit put some extra effort into it, because it's a suit that actually the eyebrows move to show emotion. And I forgot about this scene. That was rather entertaining, where behind Tom Arnold's back, the dinosaur would go, you cheap shit. It's like, what do you say? And like the eyes of it lowers, like, what, you penis head? Fine, so long, you fat ass pussy. And he flips him off. And the fact like the head, the eyebrows move, that made the joke even funnier. And so Tom Arnold starts fighting him, and then he starts making fun of Hugh Grant, calling him a pussy, and then Hugh Grant's like, right, you bastard, and he starts fighting, like they all start fighting each other. Like, I thought that was rather fucking funny. I thought it was rather hilarious. Or even moments where Hugh Grant just loses it, like when he's playing tennis with Jeff Goldblum, and then out of the blue, granted he's losing, but the frustration, he's like, fuck, and he breaks the tennis racket, throws it, fuck. I don't know what rating this got, but I mean, there's probably a few, well, those are probably the only fucks in the movie. Those two, and then when Marlon Williams said it. So if this did not get an R, I'm surprised. They must have gotten some smoothing of some kind of, I don't know how the hell they got, I don't even remember what the rating was, to be honest. But yeah, Hugh Grant apologized for his performance. I don't think he should. I thought for the type of role, for the type of movie this is, more of a zany, wacky comedy. It's not meant to be a super serious film. I was fine with his performance. Jeff Goldblum as his buddy, who's thinks he's this big this painter, but he realizes his life, he even says his life is pretty much shit. Julianne Moore, again, her character for me was the weakest part. Because it's like, wait a minute, you expect that, okay, Hugh Grant's going to get rid of his car, his cat that he's had for 16 years, his house, whatever the fuck else for his new baby, and you just expect him to snap into it, or snap out, just snap to it, rather than maybe to ease into it. And she's supposed to be the one we feel sorry for, the protagonist, and then she leaves. I mean, on the surface level, I get what the movie was doing, but I just don't think it was as effective as maybe the makers intended. Because even by this point, I was more on Hugh Grant's side than Julianne Moore. It's like, if you're not for this, then you're an evil person. That's almost what it seemed like. If you're 100% gung-ho, if you have any doubts, if you have any worries, if you have any, oh my god, like, if you think that at all, you're an evil, evil person. Well, fuck you, movie. I mean, that's almost what I want to say. So that's the problem that had the bug up my ass the most. And yes, it feels a lot of times like a sitcom. When the water breaks and they're going to the hospital, you didn't need the stuff where he almost hits an old couple and then one of them's having a heart attack. So then, oh shit, you come in the car. Then he actually hits a guy on a bicycle, then puts him in the car. Then they're all going to the hospital. That does seem like something that would be wacky in like Seinfeld episode. And Kramer would do that. Or something of that nature. Some of that could have been toned down. You know, that scene I mentioned, that could have been cut out. It wasn't funny. And, you know, there are other moments that weren't funny as well. I'll give you that. You know, I'm not going to say it's one of the best comedies ever or anything, but for the most part, I like the cast. I like the lead. Robin Williams, I wish he had more. It was fun. I keep mentioning that. I keep harping on that. And there were at least 2 or 3 scenes that made me chuckle heartily. The Robin Williams stuff, the Arnie the dinosaur stuff. That did sincerely make me chuckle. So, and you know, to me, I wasn't bored with the movie. I got more laughs out of it than some of the fucking comedies that come out today. Well, barely any movies come out today, but you know what I'm saying. 9 months, never minded it. I didn't. Sean, I know he hates it, who requested this. That's cool. He said it has some of the worst dialogue ever. I don't know, man. You should see some of the movies I've seen. I don't think it had... I didn't really see dialogue that was that fucking bad. I literally saw a movie where a character falls out of a hammock and says, oh, what the fuck? I don't remember. Something to do with a fart. Or a line that went to the, if I can remember correctly, he's a skid mark on the collective underwear. That's a line I literally heard in a movie I just saw the other day. And that, of a movie that came out this year. So, I mean, I've heard a lot worse dialogue than the stuff in this. So overall, I didn't mind it for what it was. It's not perfect. There are moments that I'm like, oh dude, that joke didn't work. You know, this try to be physical humor. Oh, it's funny, he got hit by a kite. Or, oh, it's funny, he's swinging the kid, he got hit. Some worked, some like, eh. And I would say it's at least enjoyable for most of the cast. Julianne Moore, I don't know if it's her fault. I think maybe it's the way her character is written that's more her fault. Is the why I did not like her. I did not like that character at all. And I do think that is a weakness for me of the film. I did this whole notion of if you have any doubts, it's like, no, they're not evil. There should be some kind of, you shouldn't have to take away everything in your life for this. At least that's the way I looked at it. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.